Welcome back to Jamin's Daily. Today's show is going to be a little interesting for you folks at home. Today is our first solo show, and we're going to have to deal with some renovation noise. My neighbors are in my office area over here are putting in some new carpet. They're doing a bunch of stuff, and it's making a lot of noise, so I apologize. But again, today's the first show with just me, your guest, Jamin. And reason for Jamin's Daily, obviously. And we've had Seth, our producer, has been a guest the last several episodes. And before that, we had Daniel Gonzalez, attorney at law, longtime friend. Hasn't been able to come on. And Seth wasn't able to come on. And I don't think we're going to be able to have anybody on, unfortunately, for at least a couple of weeks. Because coronavirus has reared its ugly head here in Corpus Christi, Texas. So we can't take any chances. So it's just going to be me, all by myself. So I hope I'm enough. But moving along, starting the show, we're going to look at a bunch of different topics. And the first one I have, I think is you guys are going to like. I've been hearing and I'm reading this on the interwebs. I heard about NBA. And this goes into all the different sports that are having to cancel their seasons already, postpone them, or they're having to do all kinds of different changes to their seasons. And this is where the NBA comes in. And the NBA has this idea that they're going to have a bubble, they call it, some kind of bubble in Florida, where they're all going to quarantine together. It's not even all the teams, which is strange. But they're going to quarantine together, and then they're going to have an NBA season, an abbreviated NBA season. And now that they're there, but the real story is their living conditions. Because you have to remember, these guys are millionaires. So they have everything their hearts desire. And now they're in a bubble, and they're complaining about the food, the accommodations. And there's no way there's going to be a mutiny. You heard it here first on Jamin's Daily. These guys are going to go mutiny. Someone's not going to last because they're supposed to be quarantined. So I don't think they can just leave. But you can't hold them hostage either. So that's going to be interesting because I can guarantee you somebody is not going to make it the whole time. And someone's going to get kicked out too because they're going to try to sneak in something or someone more likely, and they're going to get busted. It's going to make for some great salacious news that we can talk about later, but I can already foresee this. So this is going to happen. So the food's no good. Their rooms are terrible. They should have thought of this, or I would have hoped when they were pitching this to these guys that they set some expectations, because they're going to say, listen, millionaire NBA superstar, you're going to be going from your 20,000 square foot house to a Motel 6, a suite at the Holiday Inn or something like that. Okay. Or a suite at, what is it? Well, Disneyland or something. Okay. So it's a huge step down for these guys. And they're going to have to deal with it, I think, for weeks, if not months. So it's not happening. So you heard it here first. There's going to be a mutiny. People are going to get kicked out. And it's going to make for great news. Moving on. Johnny Depp. And, okay. Well, we can do, one of the cool things, guys, is that I'm learning to be a producer. So I'm going to have to learn how to edit. We're back from a phone call break. Sorry about that. But this is turning into be a one-man operation. So I have to learn how to cut, edit, produce, whatever you want to call it. So that's some good practice whenever you get phone calls and you have to abruptly stop. And I think you may have heard some noise from the renovations going on next door. But I was going to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and their divorce, because the court case in England is going on right now, and he sued some gossip mag, what do you call them, tabloid, that called him a wife beater. So he's suing them for libel, because in the UK it's easier to sue people for slander and libels compared to here in the US. So he's suing them, I think, for $50 million. And so the court case is going on right now, and they're testifying. So all this juicy gossip, or allegations is what they are. Juicy allegations. They're actually sad allegations, not juicy. Juicy is not the good word. Sad and violent. And so it's like, who do you believe? Do you believe that Johnny Depp beat up I believe he's a drunk, and he's got substance abuse problems, and he was sober, and he alleges that Amber Heard forced him to drink. He was miserable, she's crazy, and so it causes people to drink. I can relate. I'm sure many of you at home can relate. So he's drinking, and then he's drunk, and if you've ever been drunk and then you're provoked, it's not a good thing. You don't want to be around people who are going to provoke you when you've been drinking. And so this is a lot of what the allegations are, that he'd been drinking, she's provoking him, he responds, but his allegation is that his response is always low level, and then she just goes King Kong on him and causes all kinds of problems. But then she always has this excuse of sorts, is that, like, well, they were both attacking each other, or they were both fighting. And, you know, if you're the man in that situation, it's never good for you. You can't be fighting with women. So it's interesting when you think about how Johnny Depp's ex-girlfriends have all come out in support of him, saying he never raised his hand to me, he was never violent. And then you read comments on the interwebs where much of the comments on the internet on these articles are Team Johnny, for sure. It's like 10-1. I don't think I've even seen a single positive comment in regards to Amber Heard, at least with the netizens, the people on the interwebs. But let's look at Amber Heard's side for a second, because I feel like a lot of what I've been watching on the internet is not, and maybe it's because what I'm looking at anyways. Maybe if I went to some feminist blogs or something, they'd be all pro Amber Heard, you know, because you have to believe women. So they believe her. So she marries Johnny Depp, and he falls off the wagon. Who knows why? But you're not to blame. Amber Heard's not to blame for Johnny Depp falling off the wagon. And she's upset about him being drunk, and so they start to fight. Apparently, in this court case that's going on right now, Johnny Depp does admit to being jealous, and maybe, you know, when you're jealous, he's instigating a fight with Amber Heard over a movie that she's shooting with, James Franco. I wouldn't trust my girl around him, James Franco, either, okay? So he kind of has good cause to be slightly concerned. But he's being a jerk about it. They fight over it. And if you want to believe, according to Amber Heard, he's always the one who gets physical. And she's the victim. Because he's jealous and he's drunk. And he's eccentric. And talented. And good looking. Johnny Depp had it made, man. He should have. You know, I think when you get to a certain age, obviously he was with Amber Heard because she's good looking. I'm sure she has an amazing personality. But their personalities obviously didn't connect because they're fighting. So it was like gasoline on fire. I think I can relate. I think people at home, some of you at home, have been in these situations. I've never been this kind of crazy. So that, you know, there's levels to it. So, but everybody's been in a bad relationship, I would say, or most people. Some people are lucky, and that's never been the case. Good for you. But that court case is going on. He's suing, Johnny Depp suing for $50 million. It's he said versus she said. There was this one. There's a good point on the allegations that are going on. You can read this at home or Google it, guys. He was saying Amber Heard says that at one point, I don't know where, doesn't matter where, but they're at this compound for several days, and she's alleging that over like a 3-day span, he's harassing and assaulting, basically torturing her, round the clock. And Johnny Depp, during cross-examination or something, he says, there was a whole detail of 24/7 security guards around. Now, they don't intervene. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know. It's interesting. Can you imagine these people who work for these celebrities in that capacity? What they've seen, they're all signing NDAs. They're all probably super well paid, so they're not fixing to lose their job. They just go along. But if we're to believe the kind of violence that's going on, Johnny Depp makes the point and says, don't you think that these bodyguards, that Amber would have ran to one of these guys and, pled for her life, saying, save me, call 911, Johnny's beating me up. That didn't happen. And maybe it did. Well, Amber Heard isn't alleging that she tried to do that and they wouldn't help her. But she could have, maybe. But maybe if she did, the security guards, because they're getting paid by Johnny Depp, are going to be like, oh, no, sorry. You're okay. You look all right. You'll live. But did you die? No. So, don't come to me. It's plausible. That could have happened. But those are all the kinds of comebacks that Johnny's been making. So every allegation, he does always seem to have a good or plausible explanation or story to counter. And so, I don't know. I don't know if I'm Team Johnny or Team Amber. I don't want to take sides. On this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be like a perpetual fence sitter. I'm going to sit on the fence because I think it's funner that way. You at home, you guys can decide whose team you're on, or not whose team you're on, but when we're talking about things that counter opinions. So I don't want to have strong opinions. Let's give you a opinion, and then you can have your own. How's that sound? Moving along to Eminem. He makes the news now, but I think he's more quickly falling into the has-been category, if you ask me. And that's because I liked Eminem for a long time. He takes me back to my youth. I believe I was like a freshman in high school when Eminem came onto the scene. And then all throughout high school, those 4 years, he was dropping hits or dropping albums. He probably did 3 albums in 4 years and became a global superstar. And I don't think I ever bought his album, but my buddy did. Shout out to I don't want to be dropping names, but you know who you are. He drove a red Tahoe with the sound system in it, so we're always bumping rap music back then. Better rap music, better than the rap music today. So Eminem, okay, he's an acclaimed rapper, and when I think about famous people, I like to like them or know them for their skill or their art, not so much their opinions on social commentary. So Eminem is making the news for dropping a record that's like talks about Corona, badmouths Trump. He's even talking smack about Drew Brees. Okay, what is Drew Brees? Is the nothing but be a very benevolent. Ask the people in New Orleans. I bet you Drew Brees has given more money and done more things for people than Eminem. Okay? Google it. I want to know. I'm just guessing. But if you want to know whose team I'm on that situation, I'm definitely Team Drew Brees. Who's Eminem? I mean, come on. He's a bum nowadays. Has been. Drew Brees is still making, what, $30-something million a year playing a game. So come on. Who's really relevant now? Drew Brees in the NFL or Eminem, who hasn't had a top single in 20 years, probably. Not 20, let's say 2005. 15 years. 10 years. You know what? No, I take that back. He did drop one of the albums. Wasn't too bad. But I don't know. His age is, sometimes in life, people have this trajectory where they skyrocket, and you can plateau, and you can just, there's certain levels to crashing. I feel like over the last couple years, it's like a nosedive for Eminem. But yeah, so he's talking a lot of smack. And so some people agree with him. Some people will say everything he's saying is true. But it can be true or not. It could be all a bunch of lies, but if the lyrics, the beat, everything goes good, then that's what I'm trying to. I'm not trying to listen to some kind of political analysis on a rap song. Give me a break. Who's doing that? Not me. So Eminem. The great thing about Eminem that I can remember. See, and when you start thinking about Eminem like in this nostalgic way that I am, it just goes to show a little bit more and more of how he has been. And he used to be the king of battle rap. Or no, not the battle rap, but when he would do those songs where they're coming at each other, rappers, and he would always kill them on wax. I think it's what you call them, kill them on wax, murder them on wax. The comeback? No, man, what is it? The one with Nas, when he came at Jay-Z, the song's called Ether. Google it. Go to YouTube and watch it. Kills him. It's one of the best. I'm trying to remember there's a name for this kind of song in rap music. People, if you know, email me. Jamin, Jamin, at jaminsdaily.com. It's not, I'm gonna have to Google it. We're gonna take a break. But before we take a break, so I can Google what the heck this is called, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sage Choice Insurance Experts. Been open for 5 years. But me, senior producer, agent, owner, have been doing this for about 12 years now. So I love to do it. Trying to reach out and touch somebody in terms of referral sources. So realtors, loan originators, give us a call. The public at large, give us a call, 361-400-2411. You can find us on Facebook, Sage Choice Insurance, sagechoiceinsurance.com. Give us a try. Give us a call. We love to save people money. We want to be a trusted advisor. I like to see myself as a trusted advisor. Give me a call. We'll go over it. I can't always save people money, but I can always, give you some knowledge. I want to take it from here, give it to you, and we'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from our break. We're going to move along here with Jamin's Daily, brought to you by Sage Trust Insurance Agency. And we're going to read the news on the interwebs. And a story that I found that I think, again, everyone can relate to, coronavirus. But this is a bit of good news, perhaps, because it's talking about maybe things we can do to cure it, prevent it. And so people believe that coronavirus was started or came from a bat, like the Batman, but a single bat. And this article says, if we're looking at it now, that bats may have started the coronavirus pandemic. Could they be the key to ending it? It's a very good question. So bats are thought to be the host of a number of deadly human viruses, including Ebola, rabies, SARS, COVID-19. So despite all these having and carrying all these viruses, the bats themselves are relatively immune to all ill effects of the virus. So I could read this whole article, but what basically we need to do then is we need to use that new technology called CRISPR. Google it. And we need to splice whatever DNA that allows them to do this into our own DNA, human DNA. And then we'll be immune to all these crazy viruses. And you know why? A couple of things this article talks about. Bats, considering they're not very big, they can live 30 or 40 years long, which is exceptionally long for animals of that size. And there's been other tests on some other animals. One is called a naked mole rat. I'm going to put that on the green screen because I have no idea what one looks like. But we're going to find out. Those guys live also extremely long for being small. And scientists have found out is because inflammation. And in their case, the rat and the mole rat, the naked mole rat and bats is the lack thereof or lack of inflammation. They don't get sore, or their muscles don't inflammation in general, I guess. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But it says here that it's rather the lack of thereof, and it says these species tend to have dampened inflammatory responses, particularly when infected with viruses. So correct me if I'm wrong, people at home, but I guess if you get coronavirus, your lungs get inflamed, then you can't breathe, and then you die. In a nutshell. But if we had bats, or maybe even better yet, naked mole rat DNA spliced into our own DNA, we wouldn't have to worry about viruses anymore. So we need to get on that, people, right away. So this is a shout out to all the scientists out there. Let's do you always seen all these campaigns for stuff. We need to have a change.org petition, online petition. We need bat DNA in our own DNA. Let's make it happen. Moving along. Amazon and homeless shelters. We have a big homeless problem here in the United States. It's kind of embarrassing. Because if I was an enemy and I wanted to show propaganda about how terrible the United States is, you could just take video and photographs of all the homeless people on the West Coast. It's insane. So much so that Amazon is spending perhaps even billions of dollars trying to help. And everybody knows that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So here's Amazon trying to help out. And I just realized, folks at home, I was opening up another tab so I could read this article about Amazon and the homeless shelter and criticism, who knows, other juicy details. I thought I opened up that tab, but I opened up a freaking ad for men's genuine cow leather hook loop open toe water beach casual sandals. Holy cow, that is the longest title for a product ever. $46.79. I'm gonna have to put that up there on the green screen too, if I can figure it out. I don't want to let you down, so I want to try real hard, but don't get your hopes up. This is my first solo production. But where is this article? Let's find it again. About Amazon and the homeless shelter. Here it is. It's a crisis, they're calling it, folks. Crisis. Let's find out why. It says a homeless shelter built on Amazon's perfectly manicured urban Seattle campus is a major civic contribution that pushes the company to face the crisis and criticism in the hometown it has rapidly transformed. So one of the criticisms of Amazon is that they open up they have all these people working for them making high wages. These people move in from all over the world, really, and they're getting paid really well, so they want to stay in nice places. And so there's all kinds of the home market, the rental market, just the whole real estate market in general in that area skyrocketed, and normal people couldn't afford to live there, and now they're homeless. So that's one reason. The other reason is because of drugs and mental health. Those are the two main ones. But Amazon's partnership housing a local nonprofit could be seen as the company's answer to criticism that it isn't given back enough to the city. But the Mary's Place Family Homeless Shelter also serves as a stark display of have and have-nots. Some blame Amazon's explosive growth for making living in Seattle too costly. So I just read the article, but I told you what it was saying even before I read the article. I should have written this article. And then that's it. So what? Oh my God, that wasn't even very long. I think it's behind a paywall. Associated Press. Give me a break. So anyways, we can still elaborate on the homeless situation. Because here in Texas, if I wouldn't want to be homeless in Texas because it's super hot. Today, I think the heat advisory was over 110 degrees. And it's not dry heat, people. So I know people live out in Arizona or in the desert. It's really hot. I understand. I've been to Las Vegas in the summer. But when you get in the shade, it's much cooler. Here in Corpus Christi, Texas, when the heat advisory is 110 degrees, in most cases, it's not only hot, it's extremely humid. It feels like death. Okay, you don't want to be outside very long. So, if I'm homeless, I don't want to be here. I want to move to California because the weather is great. So that's why they have a big homeless problem. Everybody goes, and then, lax laws and welfare states and all kinds of programs to help them. So it's a magnet. If I was homeless, that's where I would go. And the propaganda we were talking about, yeah, if I was an enemy, I would take all the photos, show all my people, look how terrible it is over there. And so I was saying, yeah, it's embarrassing. It's a national disgrace. There should be marches about that going on as well. But actually, I don't do that. At least don't burn any buildings down while you're doing it. But Amazon, great company. Sometimes I have these wild imaginations. Like if I was like, at one point in 2003, I think Amazon stock was as low as $10 or $12. So if you would have invested, I think like only 10 grand and bought 1,000 shares, it'd be worth over $1 million right now. Well over, after taxes, you would have over $1 million for 10 grand. It's incredible. I could have sold my car at the time, bought the stock. Back to the Future. Man, I gotta figure it out. I was actually watching, that was on TV, on Showtime the other day. I watched it, Back to the Future Part 2 and some of Part 3. But Amazon is getting a lot of flack. And they've taken it on, what's the word? Courageously, I guess. I mean, when you're getting blamed, are they being shamed into doing it? Or are they doing it because they want to do it? Because they have to do it? You can't just have homeless all over the place. Here in Texas, it's super hot, so we don't have a big problem. But in Austin, where it's very liberal, they even allowed encampments to go on. And that's one of the big problems going on. The homeless built their whole tent cities, and they were trying to do that in Austin. It may still be there. I'm not sure. But I can only imagine right now in Austin, I guarantee you, it's well over 100 degrees heat index. Imagine you're in there's no way they're in a tent. They would literally cook. They would bake themselves. So they're outside, hanging around. That's not, we can't do that. So I hope we find a solution, people. What do we got to do? Universal basic income, maybe? I don't know, because you can still be homeless and then get the money and then just have more money to spend while you're homeless. So I don't think that's the solution. But I'll tell you another problem we have, besides the homeless, moving along, folks at home, trying to move from topic to topic that will keep your attention. So the next one, maybe it's an improvement upon the last one. Trump. Oh, I got your attention now, right? Donald Trump. Well, we talked about this on the other episode, a previous episode, that his niece was writing a tell-all book. And he took him to court, and he actually won some kind of postponement, a stay. I don't know what the term is. Hear that? These damn renovations. I'm curious when I play this back if I'm going to be able to hear it. I could just be thinking y'all can hear it and you can't. We'll find out, I guess. Well, Mary Trump. The court says, no, you can't publish the book. They had already published the book, but they couldn't distribute it. Well, today, on the interwebs, the publishers, it's reported that the publisher is telling the court that they had already accidentally, I guess, distributed 600,000 copies. That's a lot. 600,000. So they're out. Who knows? Are they going to go find them? Are they going to make people give them back? Somebody's going to get a copy and then leak it. And that's where I want to go with this conversation. It's not about Trump. I just said Trump so I can get your attention. It's about how nothing is secret anymore. A court's order for something not to come out is not enough. It'll still come out. And that's kind of scary, I'm thinking. Because, again, there's nothing is secret. Everything will leak in time. A lot of leakers. Even sealed court documents get leaked. There was this example when I was prepping for this. I was like, well, am I going to talk about that? Because I didn't want to go Google it and read the whole thing all over again. I was just going to, I'm just going to talk about it from my memory. But there was this baseball player who was a professional prospect. And when I don't know all the sore details, but he had pled guilty to molesting at the time I think he was maybe 18 years old, molesting a 14-year-old cousin. Oh, no. I think it was his brother's stepdaughter. Okay, so his brother's wife's daughter, I think. It may have even actually been his niece. And the allegation is, okay, he raped her, or he did something of sexual nature, and it goes to court, and he pleads guilty, and the documents or whatever, the case was sealed. These are juveniles. I want to say maybe he wasn't 18, maybe he was only 17, because so he's like 17, she's 14, and then it gets leaked because now the guy's gaining some fame, and he's a professional prospect. It gets leaked, and then he has to defend himself. Then all these allegations come out saying that at the time his brother and his sister-in-law were going through this messy divorce, and they were trying to get at his brother through him, etc., and that the only reason he pled guilty was to avoid this big trial, and it was this or that, because he got off with like a slap on the wrist. I don't think he didn't do any time, or it wasn't much. So he pleads guilty. And then it gets sealed because these are minors. I guess presumably everybody moves on with their lives, and the sealed court documents get leaked. And this goes to my assertion that everything gets leaked eventually. So we just have to wait for the details on the aliens. That's going to get leaked. And I think, that was going to be, if it doesn't, that's going to be further and further proof that they don't exist. Because if they did and the government knew about it, it would leak. I mean, concrete details would get leaked. It would be on video at some point. So now that I think about it, I don't know if I believe in aliens. But moving along. So nothing's safe, people. And I think about this. This is a crazy thought. So we all get in trouble for saying things or doing things, and then we hear it gets reported, And so can you imagine, I think over thousands and millions of years, we're going to evolve. It's not have to say anything. So if you don't say anything or do it, it's all like telepathy. It's just... And that leads me into our next topic when we get back. Elon Musk is actually developing something like this, a neural brain transfer chip or some of sorts, where you can be able to control things with your thoughts, communicate with people with your thoughts, and leave it to Elon Musk to pull it off. When we get back, we will look into that. And we're back from our break. And moving along, quick shout out again one last time to Sage Choice Insurance. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Jamin's Daily is brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency. 361-400-2411. Experts in homeowners insurance. We sell a lot of progressive auto insurance. Referral partners, we're looking for you. You own a buy here, pay here car dealership. You're a loan originator, realtor. We love referral partners, and we go out of our way to make you happy. 361-400-2411, sagechoiceinsurance.com. Jamin, Jamin, at sagechoiceinsurance.com. Find us on Facebook. Give us a like. Share us with your friends and family. We'll really greatly appreciate it. Moving along, we were talking about Elon Musk and his genius. I'm somewhat of an admirer, not so much for the electric cars, because I'm not really big on that idea. Eventually, and the thing to admire about Elon Musk is that he is a pioneer. He's getting into things before everybody else, and so that's admirable. And one of these things that he's looking into is this Neuralink, from one brain to the next. And honestly, I don't even know if this is just fantasy. It can't be, because he's a serious kind of guy, I would think. Sometimes geniuses are supposed to be eccentric. So if he was normal, it wouldn't work. All these great geniuses of the past have all been eccentric and strange in their own way. It's part of their genius. But looking at Elon Musk, he's going to, and actually, so this is why it's making news, because he's been talking about this. He was on Joe Rogan talking about this. So there's a long conversation where he's explaining it for himself. But now it's in the news, because apparently Elon Musk is about to reveal huge news on AI brain chips that makes you a genius and let you mind control gadgets. Now, if that doesn't say welcome to the future, I don't know what does. A Neuralink, that's the word. I thought it would be Neuro, but it's Neuralink. Neuralink is what it's called. And he's supposed to make a statement. He says the billionaire has previously said his Neuralink firm will have a device ready in less than a year. Don't believe it, because he overpromises on deadlines for sure. So he's said all kinds of things about his cars and their production, and then he's notoriously fallen short. But maybe he'll come through this time. I don't care if it was ready in 2 years. That's sounds great to me. He's saying here that maybe you follow him online, or not online, on his Twitter feed, because he recently tweeted, if you can't bean them, I guess I'm a beaner. Sorry, people. If you can't beat them, join them. Neuralink mission statement. That's a strange tweet. If you can't beat them, join them. Neuralink mission statement. Progress update August the 28th. That's coming up. And he added, AI symbiosis while you wait. I don't even know what that means. Speaking on the Joe Rogan podcast back in May, the billionaire said the device could one day fix anything that is wrong with the brain. So I guess that would no more Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. This could be revolutionary. Which always hurts my heart, right? Because I'm always thinking they're never going to let him do this. Because think about all the people who stand to lose billions, the pharmaceuticals and the doctors who stand to lose billions of dollars. Because if there's a cure that solves these problems, then what do you need them for? It's insane. And so his end goal, I wonder how old Elon Musk is now, because he's saying in his goal in the next 25 years is to create a full brain interface. So there was always, and I don't know how true this is, but I was told, everyone's only using a small portion of their brain. I imagine it's because we don't have control over it. But the whole idea of interface means you're in control, or there's some kind of controller, which is the interface. So if you have this interface that you can control, it means you can better control your own mind. That's pretty heavy. This Neuralink, so Musk has all these kinds of businesses, right? And so one of them, Neuralink, was founded in 2016 and is working on tiny threads that could be inserted into the human brain and help treat injuries and trauma. The insertion process is said to require removing part of the skull. Now, that's going to be a problem. For me, it's going to be a problem. I don't want to be first. It's kind of like the laser eye surgery thing, so that's I'll be like the millionth person to do it. And get into that, he said on Joe Rogan that we're not testing people yet, but I think it won't be too long, so people will volunteer to be tested. On his website, the company boasts that it's developing ultra-high bandwidth brain-machine interfaces to connect humans and computers. So this is where we're now getting into the gadgets. So not only does this heal your brain, now it also allows you for these brain-machine interfaces where you're controlling things. But the priority, according to Musk, is still medical applications. That's the first focus. And one of the things, such as tackling the effects of brain diseases like epilepsy. And after this, the brain chips will be updated to develop a symbiotic relationship between AI and humanity. So this is the brave new world we're all entering into, people. So, I don't know, Elon, God bless you. I'm trying to think of all the positives of that. But then, devil's advocate is all the unintended consequences, which is always, in some situations, completely unpredictable. We're just going to have to find out. Like the smartphone. It's great. But people waste their lives looking at a phone. Like this, in their face. It's not good for you. Moving along, folks. We're going to end this first one-on-one. I need some feedback, people. So again, Jamin at sagechoiceinsurance.com is one way to get hold of me. The other way is Jamin's Daily. Jamin at jaminsdaily.com. We're hoping, I think our app will be, not app, our website, but it will be optimized for mobile use on your mobile phones real nicely. And I believe that there should be a way to contact us that way. So that's coming soon. Let us know how we're doing. This is our my first solo episode, recording, production. We're even the edit. Everything you're going to see here, once it's done, you're actually watching this at home. Going to have the different things in the green screen as we were talking and moving along. So I hope that works out. But just to end on some exciting news, something that I'm a fan of. I know this is not everybody's cup of tea, but looking at UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and people my age, this has come along. And the great thing about, or what's going on right now, in life, sometimes, luck is important. And right now, UFC, what it's got going for it is, because of coronavirus, the other major leagues, aren't playing, and they're probably not. Look at all the surge that's going on. There's no way they're going to play. I feel I'm willing to bet college football is going to get canceled. NFL is not going to play. So this is a great opportunity to shine a spotlight onto UFC. And so they have this thing called the Fight Island, where they fly international fighters to this island because these international fighters can't get into the United States because of coronavirus. So they fly them privately, I would imagine, to Fight Island. They bought an island, named it Fight Island. Gee, I mean, who was the genius who came up with that? What are we going to call the island, guys? Fight Island. Perfect. So it's become a reality. So they had been talking about it. Dana White, the president of the organization, had been talking about it, saying, hey, we're going to be able to put on these shows. We're going to find a way to do it. Everybody's going to be healthy. And for the most cases, they've been able to do it. Because unlike other sports where you have so many people, you don't have to do this. And what's bizarre is when they actually air the fights on TV, or when you watch the fight, there's no crowd, so you can hear everything like so much clearer. You can hear them breathing and stomping, and it's pretty strange because you can hear them hitting each other like boom. You can hear the punches way more. So this weekend they have a pay-per-view on Fight Island. I believe it's the first one. And there's this one fighter. Really what I'm getting into is this one fighter named Jorge Masvidal. They English, it's George Masvidal. George Masvidal. Better known as Street Jesus. And as you can see, he looks like Street Jesus would look, perhaps. He's got that going for him. So he's not shying away from it. And in the press conference today, in talking, and he's been working on his self-promotion. He has. Everybody's kind of trying to realizing in the fight game, you have to have this. Some people have it, others don't. But if you do, and you're able, you have the gift of gab, and you're clever, then it works for you. And so it's been working for him. And he was quoted as saying not to, in a question about fighter pay, and because he had been in a dispute with Dana White and the UFC for more money, he was holding out, and so he came on short notice to make this fight, helping the UFC, and he's getting paid. So the journalist, the reporter, asked him, "What is his advice?" Because he's not the only fighter in this situation, and he is quoted as saying, "Don't let these devils and demons hold you down." While he's a top, he looks like a preacher. He looks like Street Jesus, beard, long hair. I think he's either Cuban or Puerto Rican. He's not Mexican because I think he's in Florida. Pretty sure she's Cuban, but he could be Puerto Rican. But he's dark. I mean, I don't know. He looks more like Jesus in terms of complexion than others. So he kind of plays the bill. I mean, if he attended my church, he would play Jesus on Easter, no doubt. That was good. So yeah, so he looks like a fighter. He looks like a Jesus. He looks like a fighter. He looks like Jesus if Jesus was a fighter. But Jesus wasn't a fighter. He was a lover. The Prince of Peace, right? But the UFC. So I'm wondering at home. Let me know in the comments if because I do like the UFC, so we can watch some fights, or I can commentary. We could do an extra video just on some of the result, some of the action. We'll have some thought on that. And folks, I'm thinking now that's gonna be about it. Again, this is the first one, people. Again, so when we put out that compilation of the rehearsals with me and Guest and Seth, my producer, that's what we're going to be doing on Fridays. Maybe, and if we can, twice a week. Some other day when we have a guest, we'll do it twice a week if we can make it happen. But the other days, if we want it to actually be Jamin's Daily and have a show every day, 30, 45 minutes long, then I got to do this myself. And so it's going to be a work in progress. I feel like I have my moments. And here, this is all I'm recording. What I should do is sit here and talk for 3 hours and then cut it down to 30 minutes. But I don't have the time for that right now. So this is all first take. You know, one take. That's all I need, my friends. One take. So, you know, let us know. I want the criticism. I want the trolling. I'm so looking forward to being trolled on the comments. I know some people, they disable the comment. I mean, that's what this is all about. So when we're on YouTube, people, I want you to subscribe and like and share and then troll in that order. And with that being said, don't give up on us or me, your host, because the best is yet to come.